Oh, my back on this top is open and I'm about to lie on quite a cold mat. I might regret this decision. All right, let's lie down as gently as we can onto our backs. Find a position of comfort for you, whether the legs are extended, maybe the knees are bent. If the knees are bent, maybe they're together, or you open them out into supine butterfly pose. Whatever allows your lower back and hips specifically to rest comfortably on the mat. Take a little wriggle through the shoulders as well, give them some space, and then you can either pop your hands palms up alongside your hips, or right hand on your tummy, left hand on your chest, and then you can tune into your breathing. If your legs are extended, give the toes a little wriggle and then maybe rotate the ankles before allowing them to rest, and chances are you'll roll onto the outside edge of the calves and the feet will naturally turn out ever so slightly. If the feet are together, just allow the knees to relax so that they can fall nice and wide into a position of comfort for you. I'll invite you to close your eyes, and depending on when you're doing this practice, let everything that you've done so far for the day go, and everything that you've yet to do, just leave that outside the mat and you can pick it up when your practice is finished. Enjoy these 45 minutes for yourself. As ever, there are plenty of options available to you, even if it's just the option to take a rest, pause, find a pose that suits you best, maybe child's pose, maybe something different. One that will allow you to gather your thoughts, catch your breath, and you can rejoin the practice whenever you're ready. I have little breaks factored in anyway, but if you need more than what I've allowed, please take those extra moments for yourself as and when you need to. Even if perhaps it's just a quick pause, grabbing a sip of water, and then returning where you left off. We'll be breathing in and out through our nose, so let's start to do that if you haven't already. If the left hand is on the chest, you'll start to feel the chest rise as you inhale and soften as you exhale. And even if the palms are by the side and not on your body, you'll still feel the chest lift and expand. And then as you breathe out, it'll soften. So through the practice, with the inhales and exhales through the nose, it will give you a good point of focus, specifically for the poses which are a little bit more challenging, and that can be through a stretching sensation, a strengthening sensation, or perhaps both, maybe even balance. The breath work in and out through the nose helps to give you something to focus on, something to concentrate on, just in case you're starting to think too much about the pose itself. But I'll encourage you to feel into the poses, where you're strengthening, where you're stretching, and some of the poses magically provide a bit of a combination of both, which is also nice. And know that there are options available to you as we move through the practice, whether you're taking a softer variation or maybe something to intensify your transitions or your poses. Whatever you choose for the right side, try and replicate on the left so that we keep the body in balance. But as you do that, just be respectful of differences in strength and flexibility from one side of the body to the next. Recognize them, work around them as best you can. We'll begin with a little bit of gentle mobilization, bringing movement through the body, then adding a little bit of heat through the main section of our flow before we slow things down right at the end of the practice. And for the last 10 minutes or so, we're going to work into some lovely hip stretches. So if you do start to feel chilly, please have something around you, whether it's socks or a jumper to add on so that you can stay warm. Okay, keeping your left leg extended, bring your right knee up in towards your chest and gently clasp your hands over the top of the knee, top end of the shin. Draw the knee nice and tight towards you, deliberately pulling it in towards your body. Take a breath in, squeeze tight. And on your breath out, soften the grip, let the knee rebound away from you a little bit, and then take it wider to the right side of your chest before you squeeze it tight towards you again. Taking a breath in, feeling the strength of the arms, drawing the knee tight towards you, and then breathe out, soften it away from you. Take your right ankle across your left knee. Lift the left knee up and towards you a little bit. And as you let go of the right leg, let the knee drift out towards the side. Reach up towards your left thigh, the one that your ankle is resting over. And then as you lie yourself back down, draw the left thigh towards you, but press the right knee away. You can either use your right elbow into the knee crease to add pressure, using your arm strength to send it away, and or the muscles around the glutes to actively draw the knee further away from you. Any combination is good. And then you're gently going to release. Send your right leg long along the mat, extend it horizontal with the ground. Keep the left knee close to you, clasp your hands over the top of the shin. Draw the left knee tight towards your chest, breathing in, deliberate squeeze. Breathing out, let it soften, let the knee bounce away from you. And then take it wide to the left-hand side of the chest before you squeeze it again. Feeling a nice opening through the hips, breathing in as you squeeze, and breathing out as you soften. Left ankle then comes across the right knee as you lift your right knee towards you. Let go of the left leg, press it wide, reach up towards the right thigh, and as you sink yourself back, draw the right thigh towards you, let the left knee drift wide. Again, either by pressing the elbow in towards your knee joint, using the strength from the arm to angle at the hips, and or using the strength of your glutes to pull the knee actively away from you. Lovely. And then gently release, unravel. Now we're going to take both knees up in towards the chest. Curl yourself into a tight little ball. Breathe in, lift head, neck and shoulders, look towards your knees. And then as you breathe out, extend your arms overhead, extend your toes away from you, take a full body stretch. And again, bring the knees up in towards the chest, curl into a tight little ball, lift your head, neck and shoulders, use your abdominal muscles, and extend arms and legs, grow as long as you can. One more time, squeeze tight into a little ball, and extend away. Awesome, fantastic. Now we're going to bring the knees up one more time, place the hands behind the knees, and then rock yourself forwards and backwards, taking 3, 4, maybe 5 rocks, gaining momentum, starting to straighten the legs, and roll yourself up to a seated position. Yay. Once you're here, you can either cross the ankles, roll over the ankles and come to tabletop, or swing your legs to the side like a mermaid and pop your hands underneath you. Reposition yourself into the center of the mat just in case you've moved. And we'll start with a flat back position, drawing the belly button in and up, extending the back of the neck, tucking the elbows, drawing the biceps forward, and then just softening the elbows ever so slightly. A couple of rounds of cat and cow. The next time you breathe in, drop the belly, loop the shoulders back, lift your head, lift your tailbone as you inhale, and then exhale, push the ground away, tuck your chin to your chest, scoop your tailbone underneath you, lift through the back. 2 more times. Breathe in, rounding the chest, lifting it up towards the ceiling, chin high, extend the crown of the head, and breathe out. Squeeze in tight, imagine you're drawing the front of your hips towards your armpits. 1 more time. Breathe in, lift the head, feel the front of the body stretch as you arch, and breathe out, feel the back of the body stretch as you lift your back away from you. Perfect. Back to your neutral tabletop. Extend your right leg, tuck your toes underneath you, and plant your foot on the mat. Perfect. Then the left hand reaches up and ahead in line with your shoulders. Pause to find your balance, and then extend your right heel to hip height. So we create a long line, left fingertips all the way through to the right toes. Breathe in, see if you can send them a little bit further away from each other. And then breathe out, bring the elbow to the knee underneath your body. Good. And again, breathe in, reach, send the fingertips away from the toes. Breathe out, bring the elbow to the knee. And again, breathe in and stretch. Send the body long. Feel the thigh muscles engage. Breathe out, squeeze into that tight little ball. And one more time as you extend your right leg this time and extend your fingertips. Bend the right knee 90 degrees, picking the toes up behind you. Left arm reaches up and over. See if you can find your foot. I've got the benefit of seeing myself in the camera. If you find your foot, lift, push away the foot into the hand for tiger pose. If the foot's out of reach, you're just going to lift the fingertips and you'll be a little bit more active in the glutes as you extend your foot. 1 more breath here. Gently release. Hands and knee onto the mat, shake off your right wrist. Give a little rotation. Flick it out if you need to. Paddle it out. And then we'll come back to our tabletop. Extending this time the left leg, tuck the toes, place the ball of the foot onto your mat. Right hand lifting up, we're coming off the wrist, which is going to feel nice. Send the hand in line with your shoulders before the left leg rises to hip height. Extend fingertips and toes as you breathe in, and then bring the elbow to the knee as you breathe out. Good, and again, reach away. Long body, keep the belly button engaged. Breathe out and squeeze, lifting the back ever so slightly. Awesome. One more time. Extend the fingertips. Curl into that lovely tight little ball, elbow to the knee. And as you reach away this time, pause, finding your balance, bend your left knee, send the toes up towards the sky, right hand up and over, see if you can find your foot. If you manage to grab a hold, kick the foot in towards your hand and lift, tiger pose. If again you can't find the foot, you're just extending both limbs close together and up towards the ceiling. We've got one more breath. And release, down towards the mat. Shake off the left wrist. We're going to sit the hips back over the heels. Bring your palms face up underneath you and in line with your shoulders. And then we'll gently push into the backs of the wrist. So a lot of the practice we spend this way, palms down, just briefly, palms up. You can rock side to side if that feels okay. Or forwards and backwards. Just taking a gentle stretch through the back of the wrist. All right, one last round of coming back into tabletop. We'll work again with the right leg behind you, left fingertips forward, but this time we're going to take a 90-degree bend in both joints. The left elbow is going to draw back, the right knee is going to come forward. So they're both about shoulder and hip height. Brushing the wall, here we go. And then try and lift the knee a little higher, try and lift the elbow a little higher, balance challenge. Breathe in, send them away. Let's go again, 90-degree bend, the elbow comes forward, knee comes forward, the elbow comes back. See if you can lift those limbs a little higher, pause, and reach away. Well done, bring them down towards the ground, we'll swap. Left leg up, right hand forward, find your balance, then we'll bring the right elbow back, the left knee forward. See if we can lift the knee, lift the elbow, pause, and reach away. Excellent. One more time, right elbow back, left knee forward. See if you can lift them, pause, and reach away. Well done. Bring the limbs back towards the ground, sit back over the shins, shake off the wrists. It's a great time to have a sip of water if you need to. Adjust any clothing if you're starting to feel a little bit warmer. And then we'll move into the main section of our practice. So, 3 parts to our flow. Each one is a little bit different. The last one is entirely different. First and second tend to follow a little bit of a sequence. And remember, you can pause whenever you need to. So, we'll start in downward facing dog. To get there, let's make our way to a plank first. Hands shoulder distance apart and underneath the shoulders. Extend the legs one at a time. Find a long flat body. Lift the hips up. Drop the heels down and extend your hands ahead of you. For this first one, let's take a walk. Drop one heel, lift the other. Swap it round, drop that heel, lift the other, and one more on each side. Just to start to stretch through the hamstrings a little. And then we'll pause where the feet are hip distance apart, hips tilted up towards the ceiling, heels lowering as much as feels comfortable, and then spiral the biceps forward, point of the elbow down towards the ground. As you breathe in, lift your right leg, extend it behind you on your inhale, foot reaches up towards the ceiling. As you breathe out, right knee comes underneath you, towards your chest. You roll forward to plank, and then you step your right foot forward. If one big step is a challenge, take lots of little steps or support your right leg with your hand, draw it through. Pausing here for a moment, we'll allow the hips to lower as we look forward. Find your balance, and then pick your hands up into high lunge. So we're aiming to maintain as much of the knee bend as we had when the hands were on the ground. 90 degrees if that feels good, or a little higher if you need to be softer. You're up high on your back toes and the leg is straight or straight-ish. If you need to bend it, bend it. And then as we work to Warrior 2, we're going to drop the back heel, turn the chest and shoulders 90 degrees and send your arms long. So the arms here are horizontal while the shoulders still settle above the hips. Again, check in with that right knee, as much of a bend as feels good for you, and the knee is following the line of your toes. Draw the little fingers behind you, lift the collarbone, slight extension of the chin, engaging the glutes so you're pressing your right knee out and pressing down the back of the left leg. Lovely. Take a look over your right fingertips, reach forward, breathe out and reach down, up and over with the left side, pivot on your back toes, and then take a step back for plank. Beautiful. Nice and soft first time, lower the knees, relax the toes, tuck your elbows to your body, breathe out and lower. Landing lightly on the ground. And with flat palms and extended legs, Breathe in to curl yourself up. You can keep the arms soft for baby cobra, or if the back bend is with you, straighter arms for cobra pose. But like we did in downward facing dog, spiral the biceps forward, keep the elbows tight towards your body. Lovely. Breathe out and gently lower back down towards the ground, unraveling your back bend. Tuck your toes, keep the knees grounded for a moment, push the ground away. And then when your arms are straight, lift your hips up, drop your heels down, and we're in downward facing dog again. Take a breath here, sink the heels back, and on your next inhale, lift the left leg. The foot reaches up towards the sky as you push in towards your hands, and on your out breath, the knee comes to your chest. Roll your shoulders in line with your wrist for plank, and then step your left foot through. There we go, lovely. Let the hips sink down so that the hips come pretty much in line with the knee. So here's our 90-degree bend if that feels comfortable. When you found your balance, breathe in and lift up for high lunge. So we're bending the left knee as generously as feels good. Right leg strong and straight with the knee pointing down towards the ground. Soften the knee if you need to. Keep it straight if you can. Good. Fingertips are reaching up, but the shoulders are relaxed. Well done. And then we'll take a turn to the right. Right heel lowers, turn the shoulders, turn the hips, extending the arms into warrior two. So again, elbows, little fingers drawing back, lifting the collarbone, left knee traveling in line with your left toes, squeezing here as if you're peeling your knee back, and then pushing long along the right leg, squeezing here to keep the thigh engaged. Looking over the left fingertips, reach forward, breathe in, reach down, breathe out, up and over with the right hand, pivot onto your back toes, step back for plank, release the knees, release the toes, and gently, gently lower down towards the ground. Try and let your hips find the ground at the same time as the chest. Extend your legs, push the ground away, curl up, back bend of your choice, cobra pose or baby cobra, and breathe out to gently lower. Excellent. Tucking the toes again as your arms straighten, allow your knees to bend. When your arms are straight, lift the hips, drop the heels, and we're in downward facing dog again. Lovely. So now's a really good time if you want to take a sip of water, take it. If you want to adjust any clothing, have a little pause, child's pose, whatever feels good for you. If you hold downward facing dog, let's take a quick check-in with the hands. Widen the finger grip, push into the pads of the fingers, lift the knuckles, and then as you actively push into the heel of your hand, you might notice the length of your arms allows your chest to drop a little further. If you took a break, come back to downward facing dog. And then we'll add a little something to our sequence. Right side, breathe in and lift the leg. Hold it up just a moment longer. Take a little bend in the right knee. Squeeze your inner thighs together and then see if you can lift your right toes a little higher. So a bit more active through the glutes and the hamstrings on the right side, but stretching a little deeper into the hamstring on the left side. Then again, we'll bring the knee to the chest, ripple forwards to plank. Place the foot between the hands, pause here. Now we're going to eliminate high lunge this time and come straight to warrior two. In preparation, pivot your left heel down towards the ground, so allow the left hip to lift. And we'll breathe in, rise up, and turn sideways. Whoa. Warrior two. There we go. So, as we did before, knee tracks over the toe, generous bend in the knee, scoop the tailbone underneath you, draw the belly button in, and the arms are long, yet relaxed. We'll take a breath in, reach forward with the right hand, flip the palm up, and then lift it up and over into reverse warrior, a sideways bend. You should feel the stretch from the hip up through the ribs, side of the body, and into the shoulder on your right side. But on the left, you're going to keep your body strong. So rather than resting your weight through your arm, keep it soft, it's just there for balance. Right elbow high, lift the chest, lift the shoulder, keep breathing. And then we'll come up and over again. Warrior two, pause, find your position, reach forward, reach down, lift your top arm up and over. Coming back to your plank once you've stepped your right foot alongside your left. You can stay on your toes or drop to your knees. If you're on your toes, rock forward, then bend the elbows, land softly, and then we lift up, breathing in for the back bend. Cobra pose or baby cobra. Take a good squeeze of the inner thighs and the legs, pull them together, engage the glutes, and then soften it down. Perfect. Tuck the toes, again an option to keep the legs straight if you're looking for a bit more fire, or bend the knees, lift away from the ground, tabletop or plank, and then the hips come up, the heels drop down, and we're in downward facing dog again. Taking a breath here, gather your thoughts, and then let's do the same left side. Inhale, lift the left leg up, hold it up a moment longer, little bend through the knees, squeeze the inner thighs together, and then see if those left toes can reach a little higher up towards the ceiling. Still trying to anchor your right heel, using the glutes and hamstrings on the left before bringing the knee underneath you. Step forward and through, finding your way into this runner's lunge initially, the hips lower down, and then in preparation for warrior two, right heel lowers, allow the hips to lift, breathe in, rise up and turn sideways with long horizontal arms, warrior two. Let the shoulders soften as you extend your fingers. Breathe in and reach forward with the left. Flip the palm, lift up and over into reverse warrior. So again, feeling the stretch through the left side of the body, reaching the elbow high, turning the chest towards the ceiling if that feels good. Softness through the right side. Try not to prop your weight up on a straight arm. Keeping the bend in the left knee if that feels good. And then we rise up and over, warrior two. Reach forward, breathe in, reach down, breathe out. Top arm pivots towards the ground and step back for plank. Nice, well done. Knees or toes again as a choice. Rocking forward if you're on your toes, slowly bending the elbows, gently landing on the ground. Release your feet, breathe in and lift. Extension of the chin, tucking the elbows tight, rising the collarbone up, and then breathe out, lower it down. Well done. Tuck the toes, bent knees all straight, your choice. Lift away from the ground. Hips come up, heels drop down, and we've got downward facing dog again. Well done. Another chance for a pause, water break, a quick rest, coming off the wrists if you need to, adjusting any clothing, and then one more round of our flow to go. Now this one is a little bit different. So no warrior one, no warrior two, no reverse warrior. We're going to do a little bit of low lunge work with a twist. So breathing in, right leg extended up towards the ceiling. Take a generous bend through your right knee, lifted high and wide, allowing the hips to open and the heel comes back towards your body. Still trying to anchor your left heel down, and then your right armpit draws towards your left toe. So you should feel the shoulders squaring up again, rotating through the torso. And then the knee comes through towards your chest on the right side. Step forward and through. Allow the hips that moment to lower. That's it, good. Then we're going to stay here in this low lunge. So left hand stays on the ground. You can keep the left leg straight or soften it down towards the mat. So this is stronger for the thigh. This with the knee down is a bit more intense on the hip stretch. So see what your body needs. You're going to turn to the right, lifting your right hand up so the arms are looking to be vertical, extending the fingertips up. So again, a reminder, straight leg or soften it down. Stronger when the leg is straight, but a bit deeper for the hip flexor stretch when the knee is down. Reaching the fingertips up, we'll take a big breath in. And as we reach them down, if your leg was on the ground, tuck the toes, straighten it. Now, your right toes, you're going to turn by 90 degrees as they face the side of your mat. Naturally, your left toes will also turn by 90 degrees, but now we want to lift the toes up. We're going to sink down with this lovely inner thigh. That's it, and groin stretch. Perfect. So I've got my thigh just resting gently on my right calf. Then I'm going to walk the hands across towards the left side. The toes come down on the left, the toes lift up on the right. Shift your weight over and allow the hips to sink. So this time the stretch is on the inner thigh on the right side. Good, well done. If the balance is feeling good, you can start to sit a little taller so the fingertips are lightly resting on the mat, the shoulders come more upright. And then we're going to transition again over to the right side, walk the hands over, move smoothly, lift the left toes, ground the right, pause again here. And then as we make our way back to the runner's lunge, we're going to turn 90 degrees to the right. So right heel comes down, left toes come down, allow the leg to pivot. Yes, there we go. Place your hands underneath the shoulders if they're not already there. Step back to your plank. If you're staying on your toes, you're going to rock forward again, and then knees or toes as you lower down. See if you can pause halfway. Hover, hold, then roll the toes, pushing the ground away, and we've got upward facing dog. So where the hips and the knees are lifted, but if you prefer, downward facing dog works just, cobra pose works just as well. Options from here, you can breathe out and lower down, or pike the hips up, roll over the toes, push the feet down towards the ground, extend your arms, well done. Take a quick pause here and breathe. I'm going to swap sides so I can still face the camera for the second round. Okay, last time on the left side. When you're ready, inhale, left leg rises, big bend in the knee, send it high, send it wide, allow the hips to open as you anchor your right heel, and then left shoulders pull towards the right toes. So the shoulders are square, we rotate through the trunk, and the hips are open. Left knee then comes underneath you, scooping towards your chest, big step forward and through, landing in this lovely runner's lunge. So same options, we can allow the back leg to stay straight, which is stronger for the thigh, or release the knee and toes, which is more of a stretch for the hip flexor. So whatever you did on the other side, see if you can repeat it here. Then the right hand stays on the ground, we turn the chest to the left knee and lift the fingertips up. So again, you'll feel this a little stronger if the legs are straighter, but the twist and the hip flexor stretch deepens if the knee is on the mat. Take a breath in to reach through your left fingers, and on your out breath, bring your hands back down towards the mat. If your leg was on the ground, tuck the toes and straighten it again, and this time we turn to the right. So left toes come forward, chest turns to the right, allow the right heel to lower, and the toes to lift. That's it, nice. So inner thigh stretch on the right side first. I'm adding a little bit of pressure, tricep on the left side towards the knee to help keep the knee to the side. When you're ready, walk it over towards the right. Bend the right knee, straighten the left, lift the left toes, and ground the right toes. And this time it's right tricep maybe presses gently into the knee to widen it. Left inner thigh stretch. If the balance is with you, you can come up a little taller. Might feel the stretch change a little bit on the inner thigh, just the fingertips on the mat. Now when you're ready, let's send it across to the left. Walk it over, keep the chest nice and low, smooth and graceful. Lift the right toes, anchor the left, lift up if it feels comfortable. Breathe. And then we're going to pivot again to the front edge of the mat. So ground your right toes, rotate the feet 90 degrees, place your hands underneath your shoulders, step back for plank. Knees or toes. But the option is you rock forward to pause, halfway down, catch, hold, and then lift. Rolling over your feet, upward facing dog. The chest shines forward, tuck the elbows tight towards your body. Remember, you can lower down, come through tabletop or plank, or pike, pushing the tops of the feet onto the mat. When you're ready, roll over the feet, and we're back in our downward facing dog. Let's take 3 breaths here collectively. You can stay perfectly still if that feels good, or rise up the heels and the hips, and then drop them back and down as you breathe out. 2 more breaths. Inhale, staying still or lifting, and exhale, dropping down. 1 more when you're ready, and out. Before we bring the knees onto the mat and take a rest in child's pose. Long arms, extend them ahead of you, take the weight off the wrist. You can wriggle them here, roll them left to right, bend and extend. Take a little rock of the chest through the knees, allowing the shoulders to open and the head and chest to drop down. Good, well done. So great time to have some water if you haven't already done so. So it is going to start to slow down a little bit now, but initially we've got some strengthening poses which should keep a little bit more heat through the body. But certainly in the last 10 minutes, it's going to slow down even more and the movements will be less dynamic. So that's when you might feel like you want that extra layer. Okay, we're going to start with a little chair pose sequence. So we're going to make sure that we have our feet either touching, big toes touching, or if it feels better, slightly narrower than hip distance apart. To get there, place your hands on the mat, tuck your toes, lift the hips up, and then just take a little walk closer towards your hands, little bend through the knees, and then here we are, toes touching, or just a little gap between them. As you drop the weight into your heels, wriggle your toes that you can feel the weight shift. It should be light through the toes and grounded into your heels. Lovely bend through the knees, Bend at the hips, and when you're ready, breathe in, lift the arms up, and a slight lift of the chest. Okay. If you're feeling strong, sit deeper into your chair. If you need to rise out of it a bit, rise out. Either way, belly button pulls in and you're lengthening your tailbone to the ground rather than behind you. So think about scooping the hips underneath your body. And if the shoulders are feeling strong, you may wish to extend your arms overhead here. So a diagonal line from your hips up through your fingertips, but just checking again with the lower back. Imagine that tailbone reaching down towards the floor. One more breath, you've got this. We're going to take a slow rise up to standing. So push into the heels, squeeze the knees together, knees start to straighten, hips begin to extend, fingertips reach up. Take a big breath when you get to the top. And as you exhale, release your hands down to your sides. Let's find mountain pose. So the little fingers are touching the side of the thighs. You're squeezing left to right, front to back. Again, tailbone lengthening towards the ground. As you anchor your feet, send the crown of your head high, and you should feel strong and stable and sturdy. And we're going to take all of that into our balance pose. So as we do this, let's shift our weight and our attention to the right leg. You're welcome to lift your right toes, ground them down, spread them wide, soften the right knee so that you can react to balance a little bit rather than it being rigid and not being able to go anywhere. And then we're going to lift the left knee up, gently, gently, picking the left knee up ahead of you to about hip height. You can point the toes or flex the foot, whatever comes most naturally, maybe somewhere in between. Fingertips still staying near to your hips, but if the arms need to move to the side to help with balance, then you can do that. Let's take a lean forward, but send your left leg behind you. We're looking for warrior 3. So the chin stays an equal distance from the chest. We start to lower, extend the left leg, roughly horizontal, capital T shape, imagine that. Wrap your left hip down, you'll feel the right glute working. Again, the chin is an equal distance from the chest. Looking straight down at your mat, don't forget to breathe. Then we're going to take a generous bend through the right knee to bring the hands all the way down towards the mat. So as much of a bend as you need. And then with a half moon variation, right hand stays on the ground. We'll lift the shoulder of the left side, lift the hip of the left side, and similar to tiger pose, see if the left hand can reach up, left knee bends, and maybe we find the foot. If you found it, push the foot into the hand and kick away. Now it'll be easier to look straight down at the ground so you can see where you're at. If you want more balance challenge, look to the side or even look up, but don't forget to breathe. If you're moving your gaze, move it slowly. Allow your body a chance to react. And then very gently, if you manage to find your foot, release it softly, slowly. Bring your hand back down to the mat. Bring your foot back down to the mat. Bend the knees and take a little rebound. So by that I mean hips down, hips up, knees bend, knees straighten. This is like a shaking off of the legs, if you like. Coming back to our bent position, we're going to repeat this on the other leg, starting with chair pose. So anchor your heels, light through your toes, sink back into the hips, and when you're ready, reach up and ahead into your chair. So if you're feeling strong, you'll sit a little deeper. If you need to be a bit gentler, come up taller. Find a range for the knee bend that's good for you. Tailbone draws down towards the ground, belly button pulls in, arms either horizontal or in a diagonal line with the rest of your body. Don't forget to breathe. And then slowly reach up as you extend your legs. Take a slow rise up. Extended mountain pose first. Breathe in and breathe out. Arms down. Standard mountain pose. Again, squeeze left to right, front to back, top to bottom, and then shift your weight to your left leg. Lift the toes, ground them down, feel them rooting in towards the mat. Soften the knee, and when you're ready, the right knee starts to lift. Coming back to your breath, giving you a point of focus, 90-degree bend or thereabouts, flex the foot, point the foot somewhere in between, and then we'll slowly look forward, lean forward, and extend the right leg behind you. Moving gently, carefully, looking for that horizontal position or whatever your body can manage. Warrior 3, capital T shape. Pausing here as you wrap your right hip down, you'll feel the left leg working a little harder. Then a generous bend in the left knee. Let your hands find the mat. Pause here. And then we're going to go through that half moon variation again. Left hand stays down. Right shoulder starts to lift. Right hip starts to lift. Right hand starts to lift. And the right knee bends. See if you can reach up and over, finding your foot, or just reaching in that direction. If you grab a hold of the foot, push it in towards your hand, see if you can lift a little higher. Keep breathing, find your point of focus. Feel the stretch, feel the strength. One more breath. Gently release your foot if you found a hold. Bring your right hand down, your right foot down, and take a rebound. Good, well done. Knees bend, knees straighten, hips lower, hips lift. Fantastic, really nice, well done. All right, keeping that lovely big bend in the knees, sit your hips back onto the ground. So this is where we're really going to slow things down. Remember those extra layers, they're there for you if you need them. You're also welcome, I wouldn't normally advise this, but even to add some socks on to keep the feet warm. There we go. We'll start with a round of forward folds. So these exercises now are to get the hips and hamstrings nice and warm and stretchy, ready for our final couple of poses. So we're gonna, what should we do first? Right leg extends, left knee, pick it all the way up in towards your chest, squeeze it tight, give yourself a really nice hug here, like we did at the start of the class. And then as you turn your left knee wide, bring the sole of the foot towards your inner thigh. If it's comfortable, keep it nice and close towards you. Lift up your right toes so that your knee is angling towards the ceiling, and then take a little lift behind the hips so that you can settle your hip bones, equal pressure through both. So single leg forward fold. We're going to take a breath in, lift tall through the chest, and then moving only from the hips, the rest of the body stays long. We're going to lean forward. Release your arms when you're ready, and find an anchor point. Maybe it's your calf, maybe it's your ankle, maybe even it's all the way through to your foot. Wherever you found it, assess the stretch in the hamstring, bend the knee if you need to, think about a long upper body, and then if you've got an anchor point, next time you breathe in, draw the leg back towards you, allow the body to lift ever so slightly, and as you breathe out, relax, soften, grow long and gently lower. Again, as you breathe in, draw the leg back towards you, feel the body lift and lengthen, and then breathe out, gently soften down. And now we're going to hold it at the bottom of this range, wherever you feel the stretch best. Breathing into the muscles that are tense and tight. Reassure them that it's okay to let go. And then slowly rise yourself up. Now we're going to repeat that with something fairly similar, but we're going to pick up the left foot, place it lightly across your right knee, but I would advise you hold the underneath of the foot to keep a little bit of pressure off the ankle, otherwise it could press directly onto the quadriceps and it might be a little uncomfortable. However, on this knee, you might want to press it down. So again, similar to the start of the class, we want to be stretching into the glutes, the muscles here on the left hip. So I'm going to press down on the left knee, but lift lightly up on the left foot. Realign your right toes and knees up towards the ceiling, and then we're going to take a gentle lean forward again. But know that this time it won't be comfortable to go as fast, so back off if you need to. We've changed this angle here at the hips quite significantly, and it should feel like an active stretch through the glutes. You might still notice a little bit on the right hamstring, but because there's less of a lean forward, the stretch might not be as noticeable, but hopefully you're feeling it here around the hips. Take another breath in, lift and lengthen, and then breathe out, gently lower. Again, breathing into the muscles that are tight, the muscles that are tense, reassure them, and then gently lift yourself up. Take this left leg up with you. Place the foot on the ground, draw your right knee up, and then just give the knees a little shake side to side. That's it, take any tension out of the legs. And then we'll do that the same on the left side. So extend the leg, squeeze that right knee up, tighten towards your chest, give yourself a hug before you let the knee drift wide, and the sole of the foot comes to the inner thigh. Squeeze the ankle and the heel nice and close to you if that's comfortable. Settle into the hips, lift, lower, reground, turn the toes up. Legs straight if comfortable, or bend it if you need to. And then we're going to lift and lengthen. The body stays in a long line, hinging at the hips. Come forward, gently, gently, gently. That's it. Take your hands with you. Find your calf, your ankle, perhaps your foot. Wherever you've got an anchor point, let's breathe in. Draw the leg towards you. Allow the body to lift. And as you breathe out, soften down. Excellent. And again, inhale, lift and lengthen. Draw the leg back towards you. And breathe out. Gently lower. Keep your length. Just lower. Hold at the bottom of the range. Assess the stretch for the hamstring. Breathe into those tense and tight muscles. And slowly rise up. Lift, 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 lift. We're going to take the right leg up with us this time, cradling the foot with your hand and place it lightly across your left thigh. Then actively, if comfortable, pushing down on the right knee. Realign your left toes, lift and lengthen, and slowly lean forward. So this might feel quite noticeable, the range of motion left and right hip. You might feel that the body lowers to a different depth. Again, you might still feel a little bit in the left hamstring, perhaps not. It should be more noticeable in the right hip. Press the knee away lightly if that feels good. Cradle the foot. One more breath. And then we'll gently lift up. Excellent, well done. Bring both knees up towards the chest with the feet on the ground. Gentle rock of the knees side to side. So we've got our final pose now, and this one actually has 5 different variations, but version 2, 4 and 5 are really challenging. Versions 1 and 3, although still challenging, are a little bit more accessible. And I'm going to move around with this one so that you can see it from a number of different angles. But let's start again with the right leg, straightening it. Left knee up towards the chest, but leave about a fist's distance between your foot and your inner thigh. If you can, bring the knee and the foot close to you as possible. Keeping the foot in position, bring your chest forward of the bent knee. So same side shoulder on the inside of the knee. You're then going to, as you lean forward, so it does require a forward lean, take your left hand, reach it around as far as it can go, so tricep and armpit resting towards the knee. Turn your palm up with your thumb behind you, and then as the elbow bends, the back of the palm will hopefully find your lower back. Then on your left side, reach up and around, turn the palm up with the thumb behind you, and see if the hands can connect. So we've got a bind here. Pause where you are. I'll show you this quickly from the side. Foot in nice and close. Reaching around the back, palms connect. And from this side, can't quite straighten my other leg as much as I'd like to, but from the back it looks like this. Now if the hands don't connect, just place the palms on the lower back, that's absolutely fine. Or another version is in fact to have the hands on the ground, and then you can push the tricep into your knee. Because the intention again is to lean forward with this one. And the range of the hip will allow your left knee to come behind you as your chest dips forward. So this is Mariachanasana 1. This lovely little lean forward hip stretch. We're going to rest out of this one a little bit, come back up, give the knee a little shake if you need to. Keeping the foot in that same position, we're going to take our opposite elbow to the outside of the bent knee. And again, there's a few versions. It's a little bit like Lord of the Fishes. The fingertips can face up, that's absolutely fine. Or if you manage to bring your body around the knee, take another reach, the palm comes up, the thumb comes behind you, and then the opposite hand. Palm up, thumb behind you, and again there's a bind opportunity here to get the fingertips to touch. If they don't touch, keep the left hand on the ground and the right fingertips up towards the ceiling. We're sitting tall, and it's not as big of a twist all the way around. We're just turning enough 90 degrees, because there's not quite as much space with this because the foot's in a different position compared to half Lord of the Fishes. So this is version 3. Don't forget to breathe. Gently release when you're ready. Face the front, shake the knees off, and then we'll do the same on the other side. Left leg extends, right knee comes up nice and tight towards the chest. The closer the knee and the foot is for you, the easier it is for your body to come forward and then reach around for the bind. Check the distance, foot to inner thigh, about a fist. Bring your right shoulder on the inside of the knee. So you draw the knee back, let the body lean forward. Take a big reach out and around. Palm lifts up, thumb pushes behind you, bend the elbow and see if your back of your palm can find your lower back. And then the left side, big reach up and around, turn the palm up, the thumb behind you, see if you can get the fingertips to touch. So you're pulling the knee back, pushing the tricep into the top of the shin, and then leaning forward to still instigate the stretch through the hamstring, but you'll feel it on the right hip too. Lots of breaths. This is a real one where you can work on your breathing and almost make it a little bit meditative at the same time. Feeling where you're stretching, feeling where you're strengthening, and allowing the body to surrender to the pose. One more breath here. Release the bind if you manage to find it. Sit yourself up. The bent knee can just take a little rock side to side if that feels good. And then we'll take version 3. So this time we're going to take the opposite elbow to the outside of the bent knee. So I'm using a little bit of a lean into my hand here to get the rotation. And then again, press the tricep, the back of the arm into the knee. Take a reach forward, around, bend the elbow when you're ready. See if we can find, this time more likely, your waist. And then the opposite hand, palm up, thumb back, take a reach, and then we're going to twist 90 degrees to the side. So if the bind isn't with you, you can have your elbow up, or the elbow on the knee, fingertips lift. Might feel a little bit easier, a bit more accessible to get into the twist. The bind, as ever, they are always a little bit challenging. Remember to breathe. That's it, good. Find your edge, find your version, make it your own. One more breath. And then gently release. Well done, nice. Okay, very quickly we're just going to finish up with a quick round of high and low boat to bring us onto our mats. So reground your sit bones, slide the hands lightly behind the knees. When you're ready, lift up, elevate the feet, and we've got our high boat version here. You can either keep the hands on the legs, you'll just be sliding the hands up and down the thighs, or release the palms alongside your shins. Take a breath in, lift up, and take a breath out and open up. Send your toes away, lower the shoulders, not all the way down, just a few inches off. Breathe, come back up, inhale, lift. Last one, slowly open out, lower, 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 gently, 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 and release onto your mat. Well done. Let the tension seep out of your muscles, seep out of your joints. Find a position of comfort. Knees can be bent together, upright or out towards the sides, or your legs can be straight. Give them a little shake. Allow the feet to find whatever position feels good. Hands again can be by your sides, palms up, or left hand on the chest, right hand on the tummy, feeling into your breath in a very literal sense. Close your eyes. Allow your breathing to slow. Let the heart rate slow with you. The work is done. You can now have a moment to pause, to rest, and to reset. And I'm going to leave you with a little phrase from Rumi, who was a Persian poet. He was an Islamic scholar, a theologian, and a Sufi mystic. And he says, "Yesterday I was clever, so I wanted to change the world. But today I am wise, so I'm changing myself." And there's a couple of things that I really love about that, is that the first is the difference between being clever, being a know-it-all, and then being wise and having the wisdom to realize that if you want to make a change, take a look at the man in the mirror. Start from within. You can't expect the rest of the world to change around you without you first changing your own actions and thoughts and beliefs. And just before you drift off entirely, take a big, deep, deliberate breath as if you're filling your lungs all the way up. And then open your mouth, let it go. A long, extended exhale. Bring a little bit of movement back into your fingers and into your toes. Stretch them, wriggle them, squeeze them. Extend that movement into your arms and your legs. And when you're ready, slowly and in your own time, make your way into a seated position. You can rock onto your side, pause there for a moment, or rock forwards and backwards, letting the momentum take you up. And once you're upright, position your legs however they feel comfortable for you. You can cross them, you can kneel on them, you can extend them, you can hug your knees, and then find a place of comfort for your hands to rest. And just as we wrap up, we're going to lift up through the front of the body, ground down through the back, extend your fingertips wide, take up as much space as you can, turn your palms up, reach up as you breathe in, palms together, breathe out, lower them down, pause in the center of the chest, elbows wide, and take a little lean forward. I'll say a big thank you from me to you for joining me today. I hope you've had a lovely practice, and give yourself a thank you and well done as well. Namaste.